about Prime Minister Albin Kurti? He's been somewhat polarizing, not within Kosovo as such, but internationally. You know, people in Brussels have told me, oh, we don't know what to do with him. He doesn't do as he's told. You know, he just takes decisions. He's headstrong. I mean, these are the very characteristics I like about him personally. But I'm wondering, in the context of your experience in Kosovo, how do you assess his leadership in navigating the challenges that Kosovo has faced? Should he have cowed to sort of international pressure a bit more, or is he doing the right thing?
That's a great question, Alice. I nearly met him when I was deployed in Kosovo, and at the time he was leading Vetvendosia. He was standing on the back of lorries, commanding thousands of people, huge crowds when he was speaking. And I went out and watched some of these rallies that he held in the time that I was there. And he's always had that leadership, and he's always had that sort of sense of what he believes is right and wrong. And you know, I go back to my earlier point about Kosovo sort of sinking under the weight of international supervision. And that's, you know, culturally, that's quite a thing to lose. And so when the international just expects people to kowtow, to do what they're told, and suddenly somebody stands up and says, actually, this is what I think is right for the country. I'm an elected representative, and this is what we're going to do. Of course, that's going to ruffle feathers, because up until that point, there'd been a lot more compliance. And again, that and stems from the fact that the international community, you know, in all its guises, for right or for wrong, definitely helped Kosovo get on its feet when it needed that help most. And you know, we mustn't forget that. But every organization, every country, you know, it goes through change, and it goes through periods of evolving, and you know, go back to perhaps the great graffiti that was seen, you know, across Pristina when I was there. The you know, no negotiation banner that was sprayed on, you know, so many buildings and so on from Vetvendosia, and that sense of self-determination, and that sort of sense of, no, you know, we're going to make some decisions. Now, yes, of course you can take that view, and I think there's also room for listening and compromise as well. I mean, every political leader knows that they must compromise in certain areas, and it's just really about ensuring that you're clear about what you feel is right. And if you're doing that, then you know, then the people must decide whether they want to go on that journey with you.
I think you're right, and I also think the problem is not just, you know, so much, or Albin Kurti does what he wants, and we can't sort of rein him in or whatever. And I think that's the problem. I think the international community has to accept at some point, you know, Kosovo is a sovereign country, and yes, you did do a lot to help them, and your input is very much still needed, but he is an elected official, and he calls the shots, not somebody sat in Brussels, and certainly not a spokesperson, you know? And I think this is part of the issue as well, their expectation to have a leader who does whatever they say, no matter what, you know? I think that's part of the problem as well.
And those situations never work. And we've seen plenty of examples of where people believe that just because the leader has either been appointed or is hugely supported by certain members of the international community, that suddenly is going to be acceptable to people within that country, and they end up without the agency that they need, and therefore they can't actually govern at all because they don't have the mandate. And we've seen plenty of examples of that. But I should probably also declare that Albin Kurti has written the foreword to the Albanian version of Under a Feather.
Oh, cool! Really?
I know he's written the book, and I checked with him 10 days later when I saw him at something else last year, and he said he'd read it. So you know, I'm really delighted that he's written what he's written about it, and in that sense endorsed the book. But I think you're right that as a leader, you know, you have the mandate from the people, and
Yes,
and it's up to the people who to
You know,
be in that position.